My friend insisted I give her my designer wardrobe because I'd never look as good in it as she would. When I said no, she snuck into my apartment, stole my clothes, and wore them to a party, boasting, "Look at my amazing new collection." Smiling, I walked up to her, took the mic, and said, "Funny, because I have the receipts and the police report." I never thought I'd have to call the cops on a friend. But when someone breaks into your home, steals thousands of dollars worth of your clothes, and then struts around at a party pretending it's all theirs, you don't really have a choice. Let's start from the beginning. Rachel and I met in college. She was one of those people who could charm her way into any situation. You know the type, big personality, loud laugh, always knew the right thing to say. People loved her. I did too, at first. She wasn't just fun, she was magnetic. But the longer I knew her, the more I realized she had this thing about getting what she wanted. If she liked something, she had to have it. If she couldn't, she would find a way to take it anyway. At first, it was small things. Borrowing a dress and forgetting to return it. Complimenting my jewelry, then casually slipping it onto her own wrist. Always saying things like, "You have so much, you won't even miss this one thing." It irritated me, but I let it slide more than I should have. I figured it wasn't worth a fight. That was a mistake. Because Rachel didn't just want my wardrobe. She thought she deserved it. I work in fashion. My job gets me access to high-end pieces before they hit stores. Over the years, I built a collection. Chanel, Gucci, McQueen, Balenciaga. Every piece had a story. Rachel was obsessed with my closet. Every time she came over, she'd run her hands over my dresses, try on my shoes, stare at herself in the mirror. "You don't even wear half the stuff," she'd say. "What's the point of having it if you don't use it?" "I do wear it," I'd correct her. "Just not all at once." "God, you're so lucky," she'd sigh, flipping through my racks. "This would all look so good on me." Then she started pushing. "You should let me borrow this." "No, oh, come on. I'll take better care of it than you do." "No, I would look so much better in this than you." "No," she laughed every time, like it was a joke. But she wasn't joking. I should have cut her off then and there. But I didn't. That Friday, I went out for dinner with some colleagues. It was a normal night. Nothing felt off when I left. When I came back, I walked into my closet, and my stomach dropped. It looked like someone had raided the place. Hangers were empty. My Louboutin heels were gone. My Chanel clutch? Missing. A limited edition Balenciaga jacket I had barely worn? Nowhere in sight. I froze, my brain trying to make sense of it. My apartment had an alarm system. The doors were locked. No broken windows. How did someone get in? And then I remembered. Rachel. Months ago, she had stayed at my place for a week while her apartment was getting fumigated. I had given her a spare key. She had returned it. Or so I thought. I called her. No answer. I texted. No response. Then I opened Instagram. And there she was. Draped in my clothes. A high-end party downtown, VIP section. Rachel twirling in my Chanel jacket, posing in my Louboutins, flaunting my Balenciaga clutch. The caption? "Look at my amazing new collection. Feeling like a queen tonight." My head buzzed. She didn't just steal from me. She was out in public bragging about it. I wasn't even mad yet. I was in that stunned, disbelieving phase where your brain is still processing what just happened. Then the anger hit. I took screenshots, grabbed my receipts, and called the cops. I wasn't about to sit at home while Rachel paraded around in my stuff. One of my friends happened to be at the same party. I texted her, me. "Hey, can you confirm if Rachel is wearing a black Chanel jacket, red Louboutins, and a silver Balenciaga clutch?" Friend, "Yeah? OMG, she's been showing it off all night." She told everyone she just bought a whole new wardrobe. I felt a kind of rage I had never felt before. This girl had stolen from me, then acted like she had just gone on a luxury shopping spree. And she thought she'd get away with it. She was wrong. I threw on something simple, black jeans, leather jacket, sneakers. Called an Uber. When I arrived, the party was in full swing. Loud music, flashing lights, influencers, and socialites everywhere. And there was Rachel, holding court in the VIP section, soaking up attention, laughing, drinking, smiling like she hadn't just committed a felony. People were fawning over her. "Oh my God, Rachel, that jacket is everything." She flipped her hair. "Right? I have such good taste." I walked up, calm and steady, heart pounding but my expression cool. She didn't see me at first. Then I spoke. "Funny," I said loud enough for the group around her to hear. "Because that jacket? That's mine." The conversation died. Rachel froze. "I have the receipts," I continued. "And the police report." Someone gasped. I pulled out my phone and held up the screenshots, Rachel's Instagram post, side by side with my purchase receipts. She laughed, but it was forced. You're being crazy. It's just a jacket. Oh, and the clutch? And the heels? I tilted my head. Is that just a jacket, too? The people around her stepped back, murmuring. Rachel's confident mask cracked. She grabbed her drink, avoiding eye contact. God, you're so dramatic. You lent me these. Don't act like security footage from my building shows you sneaking in today with a bag, I cut in. And leaving with one full of my clothes. Dead silence. I let that sink in. Rachel's face went white. She turned toward the exit. I stepped in her path. The cops are on their way, I said. She panicked. Looked around like she could escape. People started whispering. The ones who had been gassing her up minutes ago? They were backing away. No one wanted to be associated with a thief. Rachel opened her mouth, maybe to argue, maybe to beg, and that's when security stepped in. Rachel's eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape. But there wasn't one. The music still pounded, but the energy had shifted. People who had been clinging to her, laughing at her jokes, dying to be in her orbit, were now standing away from her, watching the scene unfold like hungry wolves circling a wounded animal. The security guards, a tall, built guy with a no-nonsense expression and a blonde woman with a radio clipped to her hip, moved in. Rachel tried to play it off. She forced a laugh, flipping her hair like this was just some silly misunderstanding. All right, she said, raising her hands. This is ridiculous. Let's just talk about it, okay? No, Rachel, I said, my voice steady. We're done talking. The blonde security guard tapped her earpiece, then looked at me. You said you have proof? I handed her my phone, the screenshots, the receipts, the video clips from my building security cameras, Rachel entering with an empty tote bag and leaving with it stuffed full. The guard's face tightened. That's good enough for us, she said, nodding to the male guard. She's not leaving this party. Rachel snapped. This is so fucking stupid, she screeched. You're just mad because I look better in your clothes than you do. You're making a huge deal over nothing. I let out a sharp laugh. You broke into my apartment and stole thousands of dollars worth of my things. That's not nothing, Rachel. That's a crime. Her face twisted. She knew she was losing. And then she did something I did not expect. She lunged at me. I had about half a second to react before Rachel grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. What the hell is wrong with you? I hissed, yanking my arm back. Rachel didn't let go. Her face was wild now, desperate. You're ruining my life, you fucking bitch. Security reacted fast. The male guard grabbed her around the waist, pulling her off me, while the blonde stepped between us. Rachel thrashed in his grip. Get your hands off me. People around us had their phones out. Recording. Oh, this was going viral. Rachel realized it too. Her wild, frenzied expression shifted into something else. Crocodile tears. She gasped dramatically. Oh my God, you're hurting me, she whined, trying to make it look like she was the victim. You're attacking me. The male guard let out a humorless chuckle. Nice try. He kept his hold firm but careful. Rachel's fake sobs weren't fooling anyone. She thrashed again, knocking over a table full of drinks. Glass shattered. People screamed. And then, one of my Louboutins flew off her foot. It landed in someone's martini glass. There was a half-second of shocked silence before the entire VIP section exploded with laughter. Rachel's face went bright red. Let me go, she shrieked. Nope, the guard said. And that's when the police walked in. 2 officers, a man and a woman, pushed through the crowd. The blonde security guard waved them over. She's the one. Rachel immediately switched tactics. Again, she put on the most pathetic face I'd ever seen. Her voice went sweet and soft. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming, she cooed, stepping toward the female officer like she had called them. This is all just a big misunderstanding. The officer held up a hand. Miss, step back. Rachel blinked. But she's making things up. She let me these things, and now she's trying to embarrass me. The male officer turned to me. You're the one who called? I nodded. I have proof. I handed them my phone. They scrolled through the screenshots. The woman officer's expression turned ice cold. She stole over 10 grand worth of designer goods? Yep. Broke into your apartment? Yep. Rachel panicked. Oh, come on. It wasn't like that. We're friends. She's jealous of me. She hates that I'm getting more attention than her, so she's framing me. The officer barely looked up. Ma'am, your entire Instagram story is you bragging about these stolen clothes. Rachel's mouth snapped shut. Busted. I thought the drama was done. I thought Rachel would get cuffed, taken out, and that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Because just as the officers were about to arrest her, someone else spoke up. Wait, a woman's voice said. She stole from me too. Heads turned. A girl I barely knew, A petite blonde influencer, someone I'd seen in passing at events, stepped forward. Rachel borrowed a Cartier bracelet from me 2 months ago and never gave it back, she said, arms crossed. Said she lost it. But now I'm wondering if she sold it. Another voice. She took my sunglasses once. Told me she left them in an Uber, but I saw her wearing them in a photo 2 weeks later. People were speaking up left and right. Rachel wasn't just a one-time thief. She was a serial one. The officers exchanged a glance. Well, the male cop said, pulling out his cuffs, looks like we've got more than one reason to take you in. Rachel turned to me, her face pure hatred. You ruined me, she hissed. I met her gaze, my voice steady. No, Rachel. You did this to yourself. And as the cuffs clicked around her wrists, she finally shut up. As the officers finished cuffing Rachel, I thought, that's it. It's over. But I had no idea how deep this rabbit hole went. Because right then, another voice rang out from the crowd. She scanned me, too. I turned and saw Jessica, one of Rachel's closest friends. Or at least, she had been. Her face was pure anger, and she was gripping her phone like she was about to throw it at Rachel's head. Jessica, shut up, Rachel snapped. But Jessica wasn't having it. She conned me out of $5,000, she said, shaking her phone. Said she had an exclusive deal on designer bags, told me I had to Venmo her immediately to secure it. She never gave me the bag. Kept making excuses, said it was delayed in shipping, then told me the store lost her order. I believed her. My stomach dropped. Rachel wasn't just a thief. She was a scammer. The crowd erupted. Wait, she told me the same thing, someone else shouted. She borrowed my diamond earrings and never gave them back. She crashed at my place for a week and I found out later she stole my AirPods. It was like a dam broke. Everywhere, people were coming forward. Rachel's face went pale. She shook her head, wild-eyed, still trying to control the situation. You guys are insane, she shrieked. You're all just jealous because I actually have a life. You're all obsessed with me. The officers didn't care. The male cop clicked his pen and pulled out his notepad. All right, one at a time. Who else has something to report? Rachel's breathing turned shaky. For the first time, she looked scared. Because this wasn't just about my stolen clothes anymore. This was about everything she had done. And she was about to get exposed for all of it. And then, because this night wasn't dramatic enough, a new voice cut through the noise. And it was male. Yeah, I've got something to say. Heads turned. And there, standing near the bar, was Rachel's ex-boyfriend. Ethan. Tall. Sharp-jawed. Looking furious. Rachel's entire body went stiff. Oh, hell no, she muttered under her breath. I had only met Ethan once or twice before. They had dated for about 6 months, then had a very public breakup. Rachel had dragged him online, calling him controlling and toxic. Ethan stepped forward, hands in his pockets. His eyes locked onto Rachel. You want to tell everyone about that credit card fraud you pulled? The entire party went silent. Rachel flinched. I didn't. She stole my credit card, Ethan said flatly. Took it right out of my wallet while we were dating. I didn't notice at first because she only used it for small stuff, Uber rides, Starbucks, little charges here and there. But then she got bolder. Rachel's face was pure panic. Ethan, stop, he ignored her. One day, I checked my statement and saw a $2,500 charge at a luxury boutique, he continued. Turns out, she used my card to buy designer shoes and a handbag, which, by the way, I never saw because she probably resold them. Rachel's breathing went erratic. You have no proof. Ethan pulled out his phone and held up the fraud report. Filed months ago. Rachel lost it. You were supposed to love me, she screamed. You're just doing this because you want me back. Ethan laughed. Back? Oh no, sweetheart. I just want you in jail. The cops had heard enough. The male officer grabbed his radio. We're gonna need another unit here, he muttered. This is turning into something bigger than petty theft. Rachel's breathing turned shaky. She knew what was coming. And that's when she did the dumbest thing possible. She ran. Bolted. Just took off, still wearing one Louboutin because the other was still in someone's martini glass. She shoved past people, knocking over a table, and sprinted for the door. The officer swore and took off after her. And then, the worst possible person stepped into the doorway. The club's owner. An older guy in his 50s, suit pressed, arms crossed. He looked like someone you did not mess with. Rachel skidded to a stop right in front of him. His expression was stone cold. You owe me for the damages from last month, he said. Rachel's eyes went huge. My jaw dropped. What damages? The owner looked at the officers. She's been banned from my club for trashing a VIP room. She used a fake name to get in tonight. Rachel made a strangled noise. That wasn't me. The owner sighed, rubbing his temple. Yeah. Okay, you can tell that to the police. The officers grabbed her before she could sprint again. This time, she wasn't getting away. Rachel was done. As the officers locked the cuffs around her wrists, she thrashed once, twice, then sagged in defeat. The club's owner shook his head. "You're banned permanently this time," he muttered, then turned and walked away like she was nothing more than a minor inconvenience. The rest of the party? A mix of stunned silence and murmurs. Some people were still filming. Others just stared. I saw a few influencers already typing, probably crafting posts about how they witnessed Rachel's downfall firsthand. Jessica, the friend she scammed, stood with her arms crossed, lips pressed into a thin line. Ethan, her ex, just watched, shaking his head like he couldn't believe it had taken this long for everything to blow up. And me? I just stood there, watching the girl I had once considered a friend being dragged toward the exit. But she wasn't done yet. Right as they reached the door, she turned. And she snapped. "You think you're so much better than me, don't you?" Rachel spat, her voice shaking with rage. I just blinked at her. "Excuse me?" Her face was red, her perfect makeup streaked with sweat. "You," she hissed, "with your stupid designer closet, your little fashion job, your fake-ass, holier-than-thou attitude. You don't even deserve what you have." The room went dead silent. Rachel wasn't just mad. She was unraveling. "You act like you're above everyone, but you're just lucky," she continued, her voice rising. "Lucky you had parents who supported you. Lucky you got a good job. You didn't earn any of this." My stomach clenched. Because I had worked my ass off. I had spent years building my career, saving money, curating my wardrobe piece by piece. And now, here she was, trying to tear me down as she drowned. I let out a slow breath. "Rachel," I said, my voice quiet but firm, "you stole from me." She let out a bitter laugh. "Yeah? So what? You'll just buy more. You have everything, and I have nothing now. And you're just enjoying this, aren't you?" I stared at her, feeling nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just emptiness. "Rachel," I said, shaking my head. "You did this to yourself." That was it. That was the moment her entire mask shattered. Her face twisted into something ugly, something raw. And then she did the most pathetic thing possible. She turned to Ethan. "Please," she gasped. "You loved me once. You can fix this. Just tell them. Tell them I didn't mean to." Ethan's face was stone cold. "Rachel," he said flatly, "I wouldn't help you if my life depended on it." She turned to Jessica. "Jess, you know I wouldn't." Jessica let out a short laugh. "You call me out at $5,000. Go to hell." Rachel cracked. She whirled back to me, sobbing now, her eyes wild. "Please. You can't let them take me. You owe me." The officers pulled her back. "All right, enough," one of them muttered. Rachel shrieked as they dragged her out the door, kicking and wailing like a child throwing a tantrum. And then, she was gone. The second the doors shut behind her, the tension snapped like an overstretched rubber band. People exhaled. Conversations exploded around me. Jesus Christ. Did that just happen? I'm posting this right now. Jessica turned to me. "You okay?" I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. "Yeah," I said. "I think so." But I wasn't sure. Ethan was staring at the door, hands in his pockets. "She's gonna spin this," he muttered. "Watch. She'll tell everyone she was framed." He wasn't wrong. By the next morning, Rachel's Instagram was gone. Deleted. Vanished. By the next week, I started hearing rumors. That she had left town. That she was fighting the charges. That she was telling people I had set her up. I didn't care. Because for the first time in a long time, Rachel was no longer my problem. It took me a while to process everything. I wish I could say I felt victorious, but the truth? I felt tired. Rachel had been a part of my life for years. She had been my friend. And while I knew she was selfish, I never thought she'd go this far. Looking back, the signs were always there. The entitlement. The casual theft. The lies. I just hadn't wanted to see it. And that was the real betrayal. Not just what she did to me, but that I had ignored who she really was for so long. I learned something that night. Sometimes, people show you who they are. And when they do, you need to believe them.